Chapter 3, shift schedules. We get calls every day from companies in a wide range of industries, healthcare, retail, manufacturing, supply chain, saying, we need you to give us the schedules. Well, today, I'm going to give you the schedules, but I'm also going to give you one very big warning. That warning is, schedules are not the real solution. It's easy to design schedules. It's hard to design schedules that meet the business needs and the critical preferences of your workforce. If you get those things wrong, you're going to fail, and you're actually going to be in much worse shape than you are today. So designing schedules, I'll share some ideas with you today, the building blocks, the foundational day-on, day-off patterns. But I'm going to warn you again, do not try this at home. There's so much work that needs to be done before we get into the specifics. So you've probably seen this before, 8-hour shifts Monday through Friday. It's not so interesting. But if you think about it, there's other Monday through Friday alternatives out there that might be really interesting for your workforce. But if you're a Monday through Friday operation, you stick to the 5 8-hour shifts. In this example, I work Monday through Friday on an 8-hour shift, which means that I work 260 days a year before any vacations or holidays. I have 104 days off. I get all my weekends off, that is before overtime. So it's 2-day breaks, and I work 5 shifts in a row every week. It's pretty basic. A lot of companies do this. They have a day shift, an afternoon shift, and a night shift. So 40 hours on days for the week, 40 on afternoons, 40 on nights. It's 120 hours of total coverage in the week. The challenge is this. It's plain vanilla. How are you going to compete with other companies when they all offer the same labor strategy? Here's the shift schedule. We all do it the same way. So I want you to think about an alternative with me today. Please don't go implement this. But I want you to think about an alternative that uses 12-hour shifts to cover 5 days a week. I told you in an earlier segment that second shift is the least desirable shift out there. So what if we didn't have a second shift anymore? What if we had a 12-hour day shift and a 12-hour night shift that got us that 24 hours of coverage? Okay? What happens when I go to a 12-hour shift on a 5-day operation? It's pretty intriguing. Instead of 260 work days, I end up with 173. So I get 87 more days off a year. Let me walk you through it. So in the first week, I work Monday to Wednesday, and I get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday off. I get 17 6-day weekends on this rotation, day on, day off pattern. I come back to work and I work Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and I get the weekend off again. Come back and work Monday and Tuesday. I get a day off. We call that the honey-do list day. Get all my chores done on that Wednesday before working Thursday and Friday, and then getting the weekend off again. So again, 87 more days off, 173 work days, 191 days off. I'm working fewer days than I'm off. It flips the narrative around coming to work. On top of that, I am getting all my weekends off. They are 6-day weekends 17 times a year and 2-day weekends for the rest of the year. And yes, I'm working a 12-hour shift, but that 12-hour shift doesn't happen in cadences of more than 3 in a row. So I get significant breaks along the way. Okay? When you ask yourself, okay, this sounds really interesting, over 90% of the people that we compare these two schedules with say they want the 12s instead of the 8s. We say, so how many companies do you think are actually working this schedule on a Monday through Friday operation? And the answer is, in the US, it's less than 2%. More than 90% want it, less than 2% are getting it. It doesn't make any sense. Why is that? Change is hard. It's emotional and it's disruptive. There better be a really good reason to do it. In a tight labor market, I can think of no better reason to do it than to compete for the best talent in the area, not by paying more, which we know is a short-term solution. It does not last a long time, but by giving them better labor strategies that balance that work-life issue that's a constant negotiation. Okay? That's 5 days. Let's talk about 6-day coverage. Why do folks not work a schedule like this? And the reason is, it's not very attractive. If I have to cover 6 days, I'm going to take my 5 8-hour shifts, and I'm just going to take away your Saturday. You'll work 6 days in a row, and you'll have Sunday off. Okay? You're not going to go through a rotation where, I work Tuesday to Saturday and I get Sunday off. I work a day, I'm off a day, and then it's a 6-week complicated rotation. It doesn't make sense. Okay? So instead, we just work a higher overtime scenario on 8 hours. But is that the best option you can provide to your employees? What about a high overtime built-in schedule with 12-hour shifts where they get a 5-day weekend every 3 weeks? So in this example, I work 208 days a year. I get 156 days off, okay? So 52 more days off than the traditional Monday through Friday we talked about on 8s. I work 4 12s in the first week, 5-day weekend. Then I work 4 days and I get Sunday off. I come back and I work 2 days, I get 2 days off in a row, work 2, Sunday off, and it starts again. Again, in this example, we're getting a lot of days off. We're also getting a bunch of overtime. So it's that maybe best of both worlds depending on the preferences of your workforce. 7-day operations. This is the real reason why 12-hour shifts became sort of a revolution in the US and Canada. If you're going to try and cover 7 days a week with 8-hour shifts, your employees will only get 25% of their weekends off. Yes, it's a 3-day weekend, but is that really enough incentive to lose 75% of your weekends to cover 7 days? In this example, they work 273 days a year, 91 days off. They're only getting 13 weekends off a year, and they have to work 7 8-hour shifts in a row 3 times over the course of 4 weeks, okay? So when we look at this kind of a solution, it's driving people away to longer shifts to get more days off, but also to get more weekends off. We'll get into that shortly. But again, in this example, you work 7 in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, get 2 days off. You go 7 in a row again, 2 days off, 7 in a row again before that 3-day weekend. It's very, very difficult, and that's why folks are saying, I want a 12-hour shift. Not because they want to work 50% longer, but because they want more days off. They want more weekends off. Instead of 25% of your weekends off, in this example, you get half your weekends off, double the amount of weekends that you'd see on an 8-hour shift. Again, they're not loving 12s, they're loving some of the characteristics they get by doing this. This is a slight variation on some of the other schedules we've talked about with 12s. Instead of a Sunday to Saturday pay week, we're looking at a Monday to Sunday pay week, which means that instead of a Friday, Saturday, Sunday as your 3-day weekend, you're getting Saturday, Sunday, Monday as your 3-day weekend. It's still good, but it's less preferred than the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Work half the time, play half the time. Again, half your weekends are off. You never work more than 3 in a row on your base schedule. And this is very attractive for day shift. Now, why would night shift have a problem with this? Night shift may struggle with this because when night shift employees are on their days off, they try to revert back to being a day shift human being where they're going to sleep at night and be awake during the day. You're bouncing back and forth a lot here, and that makes this kind of a schedule very tricky for them. They still like it better than the 8s, but there's things that they struggle with. One is that circadian rhythm around bouncing back and forth. So one that's very controversial, and you either love it or hate it, we got a lot of night shift people that really like this, is something we call the super long break. In this example, you work Monday to Thursday on 12-hour shifts, and then you get Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off. We're going to give you an extra 13 weeks of vacation each year by working your 12-hour shifts more in a line of 4 than 3, which we showed you on the previous slide. You're still working half the time and playing half the time, 182 days of work, 182 days off. Half your weekends are off, but you have a 7-day weekend every 4 weeks, and you have a 3-day weekend every 4 weeks. So those are some long breaks built into your schedule. Now, not everything is perfect about this. In the second week after my 7-day break, I end up working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and I get 3 days off. Things sound pretty good so far. But I come back and I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I only get 1 day off going into week 4 before working 3 days and getting that 3-day weekend. That 1 day off, people that work night shift call it the 3-1-3 problem. I work 3, I'm off 1, I work 3. That is a tough stretch, and night shift employees do not see a single day off as a real day off. They need at least 2 days off in a row. So, there's other things that folks talk about as foundational shift schedules that we're going to tell you are probably not a great idea. One is the 3-on-3 off. How complicated could it be? You work 3 days, you're off 3 days. You work 3 days, you're off 3 days. Well, it's a 6-week rotation where some of my weekends are split, where I have Saturday off and I work Sunday, or I work Saturday and I'm off Sunday. Those are not attractive things for the workforce, generally speaking. Too long of a rotation, splitting weekends. There's 3 weeks where I get a 48-hour work week, and there's 3 weeks where I get a 36-hour work week in a row. Kind of a feast or famine concept. Still working half the time, playing half the time, but it's not the same benefits that we see from that every other weekend off or the 7-day break schedule. How about 4 on, 4 off? That's more widely implemented than the 3 on, 3 off. That's an 8-week rotation with 4 weeks at 48 hours of work and then 4 weeks of 36 hours. So that's even longer, more complicated with more broken weekends. We get a lot of negative feedback about this as well. Might work for night shift employees, but it's certainly not all good news for them. What about rotations? Not day on, day off pattern rotations, but transferring from day shift to afternoon shift to night shift or days to nights. Is that attractive for employees? And the answer is overwhelmingly no. If that's true, then why do some companies have rotating shift schedules going from days to afternoons to nights, or something like that? And there's really 2 answers. There's a small number of companies out there, including M&M Mars, that believe in a culture of equality. Everybody has to work days, afternoons, and nights. Nobody gets preferential treatment, and that's what our culture is. Most companies that have rotations do it based on skill balance and health and safety. The chemical industry and the paper industry, which are almost one and the same, are famous for rotating shifts. And the reason is it's a highly skilled, dangerous environment unless you've got the right people on every shift. They have to have rotating shifts so that no matter how senior you are, we've got the right balance of seniority and skills no matter what hour of the day or day of the week we're talking about. So nuclear, power plants, those facilities almost exclusively have rotating shifts. Again, you don't want new folks all on night shift trying to figure out if they push the green button or the red button. Let's get it right. Which, by the way, most nuclear disasters happened in the middle of the night. Why is that? Because they had the junior folks without all the training and experience working at that period of time. 3 a.m. is not a great time to have all your new people in a very dangerous environment. So this is called the Southern Swing that you're seeing here. 8-hour shifts, the same 7 on, 2 off, 7 on, 2 off, 7 on, 3 off that I showed you before, but now you're rotating from days to afternoons to nights. This is famous in the paper industry, and Ankara has worked tirelessly, one plant at a time, to get employees better shift schedules that actually get them their lives back. And the great news is that we're working with a lot of unions on those issues, and they're begging us to help. So it's not a contentious situation. It's let's work together with management to design something that works for both sides. You can see this for the every other weekend off, rotating from days to nights on a slow rotation, where you do 2 weeks of days and then 2 weeks of nights. Or you can see it as a rapid rotation, where I bounce from days to nights, days to nights, days to nights. There's a wide range of ways that we can look at this. But generally, we're not looking at rotating shift schedules from a start time perspective because most of our clients don't need that. They just don't need that type of skill balance across the enterprise. You can see it for the super long break. This is one that's now more widely implemented. We've been a heavy participant in that process in the paper industry to get them that 7-day break where they can get away from the paper mill, they can get away from the chemical factory, and they can have some time to recover. We also see this in the healthcare space with skilled nurses. It's a big differentiator.